Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. We are doing a special edition today. We are going to be talking about the runs of the top three contestants of American Idol. They are Gabby Barrett, Caleb Lee Hutchinson, and Maddie Poppe. And today, I'm joined by my co-host, who is back. Eric, how you doing, Eric?
Doing good. I'm glad, but I'm sad I wasn't able to make it on Monday. But one of my professors from college was getting a big award, and I wanted to be there for him, so that was fun. It was cool to see the National Press Club downtown too, which was really cool. Major storm while I was up there, so happy we didn't lose power. I didn't get a chance to watch the entire episode from Monday night, but I saw the fact you gave me a shout out, so much appreciated for that. And I did have a couple thoughts on Michael and Cade that I want to give out before we get into the top three.
So this podcast, like we said, we're going to be sharing our assessments of the top three. Since you weren't here for the last week's episode, or it was yesterday's episode. No, it was Tuesday.
Mondays.
I'm losing track of my days. But so I want to, if you want to just do a quick broad stroke in memoriam of Cade and Michael. Memoriam? I don't know. Either of those. Do you want to share any thoughts?
Okay. Well, first of all, I had some general notes about the performance, about the whole show from Sunday night. I thought the group performance was problematic, mostly because Carrie made them all seem like amateurs. However, I did think it was Maddie's best moment of the night. Also, I love how the judges got a ton of backlash, clearly, because they went out of their way to say they would be more honest, and then they proceeded to continue blowing smoke up everybody's butts. And then finally, the pre-performance VTs were all great. I loved the ones for Mother's Day round in particular. Okay, now to get to Michael and Cade real fast. Michael, honestly, I don't have too much to say about. I thought Flat on the Floor, I thought it was going to be a train wreck, and I actually genuinely enjoyed it. I thought the presence was great, the singing was better than expected, and because I liked it, I know he's going home. And boom, I called that one. and then Cade, I thought Undo It was a B+, B-, B range performance. And I didn't think that he did nearly as good as Caleb did with Undo It as back in 2013. And then Simple Man, I thought it was going to save him. I thought it was a moment. I thought it was wonderful. I love the strict backside of him. And naturally, because I'm assuming he's safe, poof, he's gone. So those are my quick thoughts. I'm excited to see both of them on the tour this summer. That should be good at least. But a little disappointed that neither of them made it. But let's get to our current finalists, shall we?
Yeah, so we have our final three. It's like we said, it's Maddie, Caleb, and Gabby, and we get our results. We lose Cade and Michael, and I just want to ask, what do you make of this top three? Is that a laugh?
That's a laugh. I think one of them deserves to be there, and I think the other two didn't. But what are you gonna do?
All right, I'm going to ask you, who deserves it, who doesn't?
Okay, you're going to put me on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot.
I think Gabby deserves to be there.
So you don't think Maddie deserves to be there?
I do not. Not after this week.
Could you explain? Tell me why.
Okay. I'll tell you precisely why. Because she's talented. She's perfectly pleasant. I have not been blown away by a single performance. And she's not my thing, honestly. I know that she's your thing. And she's lots of other people's thing based on the feedback I've seen online. She's not my personal thing. And that's fine. Everyone has different tastes. But I'm just not a huge fan of hers. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's, you know what? It's each their opinion. I can respect it.
No, you
Cade
can't.
Wasn't my cup of tea, but
You can't respect it. You liar. And honestly, I don't think... here's my thing. Looking back on the season, I wouldn't have put Cade in the top three either.
Really?
Yeah. Cade did not live up to his early performances from the beginning. I would have, based on the overall performances I saw, my top three would have been Gabby, Katie, and Ada.
That's not what happened.
I know it's not what happened.
Wow. All right. Well, anyway, so we're going to move on to our assessment. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to, let's say, I'll just tell you, we're going to be starting with Maddie, and we are going to be going through Maddie's entire Idol run, audition, live shows every single thing about her. Then we're going to go back. We're going to go to Caleb, go through his entire run, and then we're going to go to Gabby, do her entire run. And at the end, we'll do some kind of wrap-up thoughts and opinions. That all sound good to you?
Sure.
Okay.
I know it's going to be pretty boring for the first two for me, but let's get this over with.
No, it's going to be a pretty hype for me. I'm gonna take the reins on the Maddie.
I know you're excited. Okay, but we're going to be both bored in the middle of this podcast, so that's going to be fun.
You know, I might be warming up to Caleb a little bit. I
like him more as a person this week. I'll give him that. The vocals and the actual style of performing still on, I think.
All right. Well, let's get started. So we go all the way back. It's crazy. We've only been doing these podcasts for like a month, but I feel like we've known so much about it.
Feels much faster because the season feels so rushed. But let's get started.
All right. So Maddie Poppe, she comes in. She's not really shown in her audition. She's 20 years old. She's a college student. She's kind of in a short segment. She's singing The Rainbow Connection from, I think it's by Kermit the Frog. It's a Sesame Street song.
Oh, so she's duetting with Kermit this week, clearly.
Oh, well, I was going to save that for spoilers, but I guess. Anyway.
There are no spoilers at this point. Everything's known.
Well, she comes in for her audition, and she's very unassuming, but for some people, I did a little research. She was actually on The Voice a few seasons back. She's saying the dog days are over, didn't get a chair turn. Mm-hmm. She actually said it was like a totally wrong song for her, but I would have still probably, it's a good song for her, maybe. I don't know. But she comes into this audition, and I actually, I remember when we were doing the podcast, I said that she was one of my favorites. I wrote early favorite of mine. I think she also, another thing that we need to consider is she is one of the few contestants in the season, not in the top three, but that doesn't have a sob story. She kind of just comes in and she's just like, hey, I'm going to do my thing and this is what it is. And I remember talking about her in our first episode and I was pretty sold. Were you pretty sold?
I need to go back and look at my notes because I thought we were going to do more general overview. But I remember basically saying, nice voice. I wasn't blown away by it, but I did like her voice.
All right, so we'll just keep this moving. So she does her audition. She gets 3 S's. I'm already a pretty big fan of hers. She comes into Hollywood Week. She does Dreams by Brandi Carlile. Yet again, in another small snippet, she was actually featured with Cade side by side. This was one of my favorite performances of hers, honestly, in the early rounds. Strong, beautiful. It was something that I was really feeling. At this point, she's still, though, kind of not really shown. She's more on the side, not really much of a breakout star yet, but that is to come. She doesn't get featured at all during her Hollywood group round. I don't think so. I might have done a small segment. I couldn't find anything on the research that I was doing. But her big moment to shine kind of comes in the 3rd round when she comes out. She sings her original, which is an original I've actually bought. I love listening to. It's Don't Ever Let Your Children Grow Up. And this was a performance that I was just very intrigued by. She's such a storyteller. She's the kind of voice that I would imagine like around a campfire with like a guitar. It's like a very intimate kind of like a pull you in for the performance. And I was at this point in the season, I was pretty sold on her, but I didn't think she was going to win because she wasn't featured that much. What did you think about her like pre-live show run?
I wrote the same thing like 3 times that I remember. I like her, but I'm not blown away by her. And that hasn't changed.
Well, you had Mara and Ada were still in the competition at this point. I feel like maybe if they weren't.
Crap. You forgot. I forgot about Mara altogether. I would replace Gabby with Mara in my theoretical top 3. Okay, let's continue.
Well, okay. So she gets through Hollywood Week. Still kind of subtler. I keep getting that word confused. She comes into the Green Mile round, and she's shown in yet another segment where that isn't featured. She's doing Me and Bobby McGee, and Ryan, who was on our podcast last time, was actually there for when she actually sang this. So we didn't see it, but he did, and he actually said this was probably one of her weaker performances of the season, which good thing people didn't see it. But she's montaged. She gets straight sent through to the top 24. And like I said before, I was a fan of hers. I didn't think she was a winner yet because we didn't see that much, but that's about to change when we get into the live rounds. Going to the live rounds, you were very low on her. I was pretty high on her. she comes out and it's top 24 week, and she has this segment with Bobby Bones. And in her intro package, she talks about how she's just happy she made it to this point. She didn't really expect to make it much further. And we talked about this in the podcast where I said that it's good that she kind of built that narrative for her, because she kind of built herself as this insecure like girl who doesn't realize how good she is, which makes her performance then of Brand New Key when she comes out so much more powerful. And it builds an arc for her where she kind of like is an unassuming, like unaware, and then she doesn't even realize how good she is. And in my opinion, this is probably my top 2 favorite performances of hers. Did you like it as much as I did?
Take a guess.
Okay. Anyway, so that
was good.
All right.
Okay, I appreciate how much you love her. And honestly, if she wins, I'll be happy for you. But
all right. Well, anyway, after she does that performance, she comes back out with Colby Calais. Beautiful performance. She does Bubbly. It was someone like a perfect match for them. And I was really digging it. I was really happy that this was the pairing. I thought that it was a beautiful performance. Starting to see shades of her being a front runner. At this point, I have in my notes 1 performance away from being a front runner. Not quite there, but on the bubble. I don't know if I should throw this over to you, so I think I should just keep going.
No, I do have something to say about the top 24 round. And it's actually, I wrote this, the first comments I have about her in my notes were from top 24 solo. And it sums up my thoughts. Perfectly pleasant. She's undeniably talented and deserves to make the top 14. She's just not really my type of artist. I will say also, I do remember the Colby Kelly duet pairing was perfect for her. Unfortunately, I didn't like the Colby Kelly song, and I've seen Colby Kelly live because Alice Sincere opened for her. But and she was good, but that was my least favorite Colby songs.
Anyway, like you said, we move on. It's she's doing she gets through on the judges' picks. They get to pick the top 14. And before we even get into her top 14 performance, you and we do our draft. And as I recall, I win the coin flip. I can pick from any of the contestants. You were kind of really pushing that I should pick Cade, and I went and I stuck to my guns and I picked Maddie. And I'm so glad I did that because, she's still here.
But honestly, the one you should be happy you picked is Gabby, because she's gonna win.
We're gonna talk about that draft pick a little later, because all right, we're going to get sidetracked. We're talking about Maddie right now. So she comes out top 14 weeks. She does Homeward Bound, Simon and Garfunkel. This, in my opinion, I said I was waiting for one performance to put her in the frontrunner category, and this was it. Beautiful. I say this a lot, but it was just a beautiful performance. It's lilty. It's so intimate. It's just her with a guitar, and it's just something. It's like a lullaby. That's something I could just listen to over and over. And I loved this performance of hers. It's just of the songs that Maddie has to possibly reprise for the finale. I would honestly go ahead and suggest that this should probably be the song that she does. I was leaning towards thinking Brand New Key and another song a little in the future, but of all that she could do, I would honestly say go do this one. Do you agree?
I think honestly, the one performance of hers I actually got into was nothing compares to you, so redo that one.
The thing is, I don't want to. We'll talk about this a little later when we do our little spoiler segment. Nothing compares to you. It's slow, and I'll just say her song that she's going to do for her pick is also slow, and maybe I don't know. I'm not really sure. We'll just kind of move on. So we go on to her victory song. She's one of the contestants who is selected. She doesn't need a wild card. She makes it into the top 10 straight away. Her victory song is Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. The first time I ever heard this song, I'm now absolutely in love with it. It's a different kind of rendition from the original. The original is kind of more rocky. This was kind of more, it was kind of a groovy take on the song. Like I said, another winner of hers. This is she's pretty damn consistent with her performances. Every week it's pretty pretty strong showing. Do you agree?
No. Next. I mean, I agree she's consistent, but not in a way that excites me at all. I'm sorry.
Why do you dislike her so much?
I don't dislike her. She's just not my thing.
Okay.
She's not the type of artist that I go out of my way to listen to.
Well, she is the kind I would. And
that's great. I'm happy for you. And I'm happy that she made the top 3 because you're so happy about it.
Pretty happy about it. All right, we move on. She goes into Disney Week. I should have brought my Mickey ears for this, but she does Bare Necessities. And when I saw the song, spoilers, I was very nervous for her, but it turns out she does a pretty good job with it. She does the song and she allows it to have a bit of a breakdown moment with the piano. Not my favorite Maddie performance, but still, I would say, like I said in the previous podcast, still a B+. I was a little worried for her because this was the first episode when it was the live voting throughout the show. She performs first, which actually, in retrospect, is actually a good thing for her. Yes. But we didn't know it at the time, so we were kind of a little bit nervous. But turns out, nothing to worry about. She is straight through to the top 7. Did you like this rendition?
I honestly forgot it even happened.
Well, I liked it. And so she moves on to the top 7. The theme is Prince Week and songs from the years they were born. For her Prince song, which in my opinion, I said before that Brand New Key was one of my favorite songs. This is my #1 favorite song of hers. It's Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor. It's her. She's behind the piano. It kind of gave me shades of Jax and Gina Irene. I think it might have even been the same piano that Jax did for her White Flag performance. Not sure on that. But best performance of hers, definitely, in my opinion, the best performance of the night. This was, honestly, so far, I still believe this is the performance of the season.
I won't go that far. It was by far her best performance. And I did enjoy it. So there's that.
It's always a plus when you get to like the performance. But from her best performance, we kind of get into the performance that, in my opinion, wasn't her best. This was probably, of all the performances of Maddie's, this is probably the low. Yeah, it's If It Makes You Happy by Sheryl Crow, which is a song I absolutely love. She kind of wanted to do a bit of a belting interpretation of this. She wanted to show her vocal range.
Bad move.
I'll just say there were better songs she probably could have picked. This wasn't by any means a disaster. It just wasn't my favorite of hers.
Parts were kind of problematic, but when she got into certain noise, the problem with that song is it exposed every single weak spot with her voice, and she can't afford to do that at this point, and she can't do it again. I mean,
go on.
I was done. You go.
But like contestants like Adam Sanders and Mara still had those kind of moments, and
yes, they did. Yes, they did. But their better moments, I think, made up for them. Okay,
let's move on. She advances to the top 5, which is last night's performances. Not last night. This week's. She first does "If It Makes You." No, not.
She does. I Told You So.
I Told You So by Carrie Underwood and God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. Pretty terrifying episode for a Maddie fan. It was looking a little bad at parts that she might be the one eliminated, but thankfully she is one of the contestants in the top 3. She performs last, and the judges are kind of doing some shtick, and it's kind of taking away some time from Maddie to get her votes in. But like I said, thankfully she is in the top 3. Did you like these 2 performances?
Okay. So, as I was talking with you on Twitter, and you called me borderline harassment, which I really enjoyed, by the way.
During the episode, I just want to say, you were direct messaging me saying like, "Well, this is it for Maddie. This is it," and I was like, I wrote, "This is borderline harassment."
I laughed my ass off. But okay, that aside. Here's my issue with God Only Knows. I mean, first, I Told You So was a typical Maddie performance, good, couldn't get invested, etc. My problem with God Only Knows is that on paper, it was good. But I've seen Louisa Johnson sing that song. And Louisa...
So, it's pretty new to me, this one.
Okay. Well, you need... I sent you a link to Louisa's performance. You need to watch it, and then you can tell me who did it better.
Did she play piano?
She did not. She stood there and sang her ass off and made the song dynamic, engaging. I loved it. It was one of her first moments of the season. And Maddie did fine on the song, but going into it, I knew that it wasn't going to be as good as Louisa's. And so I was bound to be disappointed by it. It wasn't her fault that she couldn't deliver as much as Louisa could, because very few people can deliver like Louisa could. But yeah, sorry.
So that is Maddie's run. This is where we stand. We are going into the finale. We know one of her songs so far. We'll talk about it at the spoiler section at the end. I just want to say, I feel like I'll let you do this for Gabby, but I feel like at the end of each contestant, we should do a pitch for why that contestant should win. We could kind of do one together for Caleb. I'll let you do Gabby. I'm going to take on.
There is no pitch for Caleb to why Caleb should win.
No, I feel like there's a pitch. There is some things to be said.
Okay, fine.
All right, so I'm going to say that of all these three contestants, I feel that Maddie has by far delivered the best performances. Nothing compares to Brand New Key, Homeward Bound. By far been the most consistent of the three. She has consistently had better performances. She has the arc of this girl who probably was a little bit self-doubtful, but was able to come out of her shell and become an incredible performer. I think she not only deserves to win, I think she should win because she is just so good. Let her represent the Idol brand. She is something so different. If you were going to pick Gabby, if you were going to pick Caleb, you are just picking the exact same things that happened in the past. And this is someone who's so different and so unique and could give so much to the music industry. She deserves to win. That is my pitch.
Do I have to give a pitch?
You know what? Yeah, we'll each do a pitch for every contestant. Tell me why Maddie deserves to win.
She doesn't. But if I was going to say, let's change it. Let's change it from a pitch to what you like about the contestant.
Okay,
how about
that's
that?
Fair.
That makes more sense.
It's fine. I already got my Maddie pitch out of the way. Go on.
You did. Okay. So what I like about Maddie, I like that she is different from any previous person who has won American Idol. I'll give her that. I also give that she's clearly a lovely person. All the other contestants love her. You love her. She seems like a genuine, nice person, and that's always a good thing. And a lot of people do like the style of music that she does. I'm not one of them, but a lot of people do like that. So I don't think she would be a bad winner for her brand. And that's what I'll say.
The thing is, of these three contestants, she is the only one who is here solely on her talents. She's not a white guy with guitar. She's not a producer's favorite. She got here based on her sole talent. Every week, she went out and she performed and she gave it her all. She didn't have the excuse of being able to skate by and being a white guy with guitar. She probably didn't have the producers telling the judges to stand for every single performance and say she gave the performance of the night. She did this on her own, and the fans are supporting her. I'm supporting her, and she deserves to win. Good night, America.
Okay, good luck with
All
that.
right, so that is Maddie's run, and we are going to move on to a contestant who I feel there's I'm starting to feel that there might be some more win equity that I kind of thought going through his run. I went through every single one of his performances this afternoon, and we start with his audition. It's Caleb Lee Hutchinson. He's 18 years old from Dallas, not Texas, but Georgia. I don't know why, but so he comes in and he has his audition, and it is If It Hadn't Been for Love by the Steel Drivers. He looks a lot different now from when he looked at his audition. He lost a ton of weight. He has his backstory. He was playing guitar since he was 12. What did you think of his audition?
Okay. Here's what I wrote. For him, I remember what I wrote for his audition. He's talented and charismatic, but really not my thing. I worry that he could pull a Scotty and win. So right from the beginning, I saw that he's not my thing, but a threat. And he still is. So,
well, he comes into his audition, and I was watching it, and he looked like how I would probably look if I was auditioning. Like, he looks at the judges, and his voice is like shaky. He looks like a few nerves away from being trembling. Like, you could see he's nervous. Then he comes, he does his song. He actually even does a Luke Bryan impression, which kind of shows off the humorous side of him that they keep kind of hinting at with the judges and like with the banter. They keep talking about how funny he is. At this point, I have in my notes, I thought he was a fodder contestant because I didn't see him as our country boy of the season quite yet. But I feel like with American Idol, with Big Brother, I imagine there's like a country boy making machine. And like every show, it like churns out a new person, and this is who we got this season. Like there's always, it's just gonna pop out like a Scotty or someone or a Dexter or a Ben Briley, and it's just gonna be our country.
Don't remind us of Dexter and Ben Briley. I know I reminded us of Dexter once, but now it's my turn to take that out on you. Go. Continue on, Caleb.
All right, so he is our country boy, and he gets 3 S's, but I was kind of discounting him. I thought probably not anywhere close to a winner. We saw the spoilers.
A white guy who can play guitar and is a country singer.
That's the thing. I mean,
that's the lesson to learn.
History is on his side going into this final 3. But anyway, we'll go through his Hollywood week. He goes and he does, first off, it's Don't Close Your Eyes for his solo performance. He's shown in a montage, but it's pretty good. I wrote down strong. I probably would have put him through if I was a judge. No showing for group round. Basically, of the top 3, I don't think any of them were featured in the group round. But then he comes out for his solo round. He does Your Man. It's by
Baby Lock Them Doors.
Baby Lock Them Doors. It's that song. And right there, I feel that is where the Scotty comparisons start to germinate. Once people start, once people see this.
When you sing Scotty's song, and you're like Scotty in every way, except you're actually the better singer than Scotty, you're gonna be compared to Scotty.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like Scotty, like this season, you have Caleb being Scotty, Gabby being Carrie Underwood, and Maddie being no one. Underwood? Like none of them. Gabby being Carrie Underwood.
I think the comparison is Caleb is Scotty, Gabby is Lauren. Maddie is a third placer who's not going to win. Which is unfortunate because Haley Reinhart was awesome.
I mean, you could make the comparison to the season 10. In my opinion, I like it more where it's Maddie is actually Kelly Clarkson, Gabby is Carrie Underwood, and Caleb is Scotty. But since you're laughing at me, let's stick with the season 10 comparison. So that would mean that Maddie is Haley. Do you kind of feel that comparison?
Other than the fact we're both going to get third place, no.
There's got to be something I could say, like if she does make it to the top 2. Like if she's in the top 2, I could say, ha, or something like that.
She might be in the top 2. She's not going to win. I honestly think she might get to the top 2 because the country people because Caleb might siphon some votes away from Gabby.
Do you think if the final 2 comes down to Caleb and Maddie, who do you want to win?
I couldn't hear that. That was your microphone. Your interconnection dropped out.
Sorry. If the final 2 is Caleb and Maddie, who would you want to win?
Maddie.
Ooh, there's a chance. It's like the meme. So you're saying there's a chance? Of
the 2, I would prefer Maddie.
All right,
but that's again a low bar. Okay.
So you've seen him up to this point in Hollywood Week. What are your kind of thoughts for his win equity? Like, what do you think? What was your predictions for how his run is going to go at this point?
My predictions, honestly, at that point didn't matter. I mean, I was always worried about him winning because he's the country boy who can play guitar and is cute and has a sense of humor, and I'm still worried about it. But what I want to talk about actually is the top 24 and the top 14 rounds because they started to really de-emphasize him.
Before we get to that, we should just mention that he has a showcase performance. It's I Was Wrong by Chris Stapleton. Another Chris Stapleton. He does quite a few during his Idol run. Gets 3 S's. I don't think he was shown in a montage. I think he had his full thing featured. But
Caleb was to Chris Stapleton as Scotty was to Josh
Turner?
Yes, there we go.
So yeah, he's in the top 24. In the top 24 round, he does Die a Happy Man by Thomas Rhett. I wrote down it was middle of the road. He looks like they showed him his progression in his backstory that he lost weight. At this point, I was still kind of discounting him. He also has his performance with BB Rexa. Finally got her name right. It's Meant to Be. I felt like his duet was stronger than his solo. Do you kind of share my sentiments?
Sort of. I didn't really like either of them. Top 14 is where it got interesting to me.
Really?
Because top 14 of the judges, I thought bust him, and it didn't matter.
Let's move on. I guess we should kind of move on. So he gets to the top 14 round. He does his solo round. It's Midnight Train to Memphis by the Steel Drivers, just like his audition song was. Honestly, I don't know if it's just because I never heard this song before, but this is one of my favorite Caleb performances. Like it might just be because I've never heard the song and I just kind of like the song, but I was kind of digging it. Caleb has always portrayed himself as a little bit nervous. He's always a little scared about going on stage, as would probably anyone. But this was like the first time when I felt like there wasn't as many nerves and he was kind of a little bit confident in the performance. Do you agree?
I honestly don't remember a performance. All I remember is that the judges weren't overwhelming in their praise, which at that point of the competition meant that they didn't want him to go far.
Pretty much. But their intentions be damned. He makes it through to the top 10. Doesn't need a wild card. He sings Getting You Home by Chris Young. Not my favorite Caleb performance. I was watching this with my mom. She was really, really digging this performance, though. At this point, still, I was feeling like this is kind of a middle. I was leaning more towards him being Dexter Roberts and not towards Caleb at this point. Not towards Scotty, I mean. And
or Caleb, technically, both of them won.
No, yeah, I guess. But
not Caleb you were thinking of, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Did you have any last minute things you want to say on his top 14 run until this point?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so we move on to Disney Week. He's doing You've Got a Friend from Toy Story. Song I think should probably, it's a song, it's a nice song to listen to, but it kind of doesn't ever really go anywhere. It's kind of just the same kind of notes. It's really expected. He sings a straight cover. I was at this point, I was now pretty sure he's Dexter Roberts, and I was honestly predicting he'd be one of the contestants at home. But he doesn't. He makes it through. Did you like his Toy Story song?
I remember what I wrote. I said this on the podcast once. I'm going to say it again because it sums up this performance, every previous performance, every subsequent performance. The song choice was good enough. The vocals were good enough. The performance was good enough. Good enough isn't good enough to win an American Idol when competing against people who are great and sometimes stellar.
Totally agree. I think that's the exact point of Caleb's run. He is an inoffensive singer, country singer. He seems very nice. He's funny, but everything is like no more than a B+ with some exceptions. Everything, it's safe. It's very middle of the road. It's straight cover.
B+. Yeah, that's his general thing. Yeah. I
feel like I think I made this comparison. It's like if you, I'm going to quote someone, a fellow Idol commenter, a fellow Idol recapper, Michael Slezak, who said, it's like if you go down for Christmas and for your Christmas present is socks. Like, socks are good. Socks are great. You probably like them and wear them more than, you might like one pair more than the other. But at the end of the day, there's better options that you could have gotten for your Christmas present, is what I'm kind of saying. Like, I feel like Caleb is pretty good. He's a good singer, but there's just better options in the other two. But at this point, there's still a few performances to come that kind of changed my mind a little bit. Do you agree? Or am I making no sense?
None of the performances have changed my mind. I will say that some of the stuff around the performances, like his personality and his sense of humor, might scare me because there's a lot to like there. But okay. All
right. So he makes it through Disney Night. He does. In my opinion, his weakest performance of the season. It's Amazed by Lone Star from Spaceballs. In my opinion, it was predictable. I predicted it in my song suggestions article. There's just nothing you could really do with this song. Like, I remember, it reminded me a little bit, I don't know if this is a reference you might remember, Bailey Brown. Do you remember that name?
No.
Season 11, top 24. It's like a pretty song. She did this song in the top 24 round. And it's just, I mean, it's good. It's not bad, but it's just his rendition. For his rendition, it was the weakest of his run. Do you agree?
Forgot it. So sorry.
Wow. Doing pretty well with these Caleb performances. But from his weakest song of Amaze, we move on to, in my opinion, the highlight of his season run, which is When Doves Cry, which is, if it hadn't been on the same night as Maddie doing Nothing Compares to You, that night actually had the three best performances from Prince night were from the top three. A beautiful performance from Caleb. This was unexpected, and it was so good that there was a Prince scene because it forced him out of his comfort zone. And I was a fan of it. I liked it. Do you agree?
I do like that the song choice was unexpected. I can't get invested in him. I couldn't get invested in performance. It was good. It wasn't great. It was probably his best because it was the most different. It was unique. It was a risk. But
this was also the point when I made the entirely long-winded explanation of that. Overall body of work shouldn't trump. No, overall body of work should trump one good performance. And I still, at the end of the day, I was still almost a little bit predicting that Caleb would still end up going home. He didn't. History will tell that he didn't. And he moves on to the theme week of Carrie Underwood and songs dedicated to Mother's Day. Going into this week, I was kind of thinking it would expose a little bit the country singers, because when a country singer, country is their lane, it's their bread and butter of what they do, and as a result, it kind of holds them back from surprising us. Like Maddie or Cade doing a country song is unexpected, and that is, I feel like unexpectedness is where the idol moments in the show come from. But if they're in their own lane, they're just going to do exactly what's expected of them. And for his solo round, it was expected. It was another not the best performance. It was so small by Carrie Underwood. I didn't love this that much. Did you like it?
I wrote 3 words, not my thing.
Pretty much. Then he does his Mother's Day song, which I thought was probably in my top 2 of his performances. It would be When Doves Cry and Stars in Alabama. Pretty strong performance, I thought. Did you like it?
Again, I love the stuff before performance and after performance. Performance itself wasn't my thing, but yeah.
All right, so that's his run. He makes it into the top 3. I feel like a lot of people are discounting him, but I feel like it would be foolish to discount him because we've seen this happen before. As long as it only takes one white guy with guitar to win, is all I'm gonna say. So,
and 2 girls that are gonna probably split the vote.
No. It would, if anyone's splitting votes, it's Caleb and Gabby. Anyway, so
I worry. I'm afraid that Caleb has a great shot at winning.
All right, so now here's the question. Why does Caleb deserve to win, or what do you like about Caleb? Whatever our pitch was.
Is much easier to answer.
Go for it.
I love him as a person. He's been hilarious. He's been genuine, funny, nice. And he is a better singer than Scotty. I'll give him that. He has a bit more power in his voice in the upper parts than Scotty did. But we're supposed to do it like, so I'll leave it at that.
The thing is, it's just another Scotty clone. I mean, first of all, I just want to say he seems like a genuine person. Like, he's funny. The contestants clearly adore him.
Yeah.
He's also really tall, surprisingly. Like, I saw a picture and it was him and the girls, and he's just like towering over them. And I was looking at it, I was like, I didn't realize he was so tall. But I think he does have a good shot of winning. I don't know. I feel like I'm more inclined to believe he will probably come in 3rd place, although, country voters, they come out to vote sometimes. They come out in
He's
packs.
getting at least 2nd. I'm worried.
I don't know. But do you have any final thoughts on Caleb's run?
I just hope we don't have to play the "This Is My Now" theme song over him.
This is my now.
Don't. Nope. and okay.
Wait, I just want to ask. So, what's your pick for his reprise song?
When Doves Cry.
I think that has to be it. Like, if he comes out with anything that isn't that, it would be a huge detriment against him. But I guess that's all we have to say about Caleb's run. he could still, you never know with him. We move on to the contestant who I feel like we're going to have the most to talk about right here. It's Gabby Barrett. At her audition, she's 17 years old. I think she's 18 now. I'm not quite sure. She's from Pittsburgh. And of the 3 contestants, she had, I believe, the longest audition showing. She gets a full backstory, a full sob story. She tells her story is that she describes herself as a daddy's girl. Her father works as a maintenance man for Goodwill. They talk about him being like a cleaning man, a hardworking, all-American, like American dream following person who is giving their all for his daughter. And they pull out all the stops for her. But what some people have pointed out online is that there is some story about her being reached out to by producers to come and audition. So she's a plant a little bit. And I put a lot out there, so I want to throw it over to you. What do you think about before her audition? What did you kind of think about her?
I didn't watch her audition. I didn't know about her before audition. I didn't follow the spoilers like you did. I will say I was not a fan of her first audition. I wrote that I didn't know what the judges were hearing in her.
I agree. At this point, there was a lot of push for her. A lot of people were talking about her online, saying she's so talented. I remember watching this audition, and we did a podcast, and I said I did the Britney Spears thing. I just don't get it.
Yay. Everyone
kind of was like so into it, and I wasn't really feeling it. The one thing that I had a question, because in her audition package, she talks so much about her father, and I still don't know this answer to this question, but is her mother in the picture? Like, I think so, because she was in the Mother's Day segment. So
yeah, she's still in the picture.
It was kind of weird. They like kind of framed it in like a that kind of way where it's kind of like implying that she's just with her father, but that's up for interpretation. In her intro package, she also says Carrie Underwood is my idol, which will come back a little bit later on. For her audition, she's doing Good Girl by Carrie Underwood. She sings it, and she's like clapping along to the song, and she gets a couple of bars into it, and not Kelly, oh, that would be bad. Katie tells her to stop and do another song, and she says, okay, I'm going to do Church Bells by Carrie Underwood, and she says, no, don't do that, and then she's like, okay, well, I can do a song by Gretchen Wilson. And Luke finally speaks up and he says, yeah, don't do that. He says something that I just wanted to quote. He says, when you try to sound like country, you're not like country. Wait, I totally skipped ahead. I don't know where that quote is. Oh, here it is. When you try to sound like country, you don't sound like country. And I feel like this is a narrative that is going to stick with Gabby throughout her pre-live show run. They're going to be talking a lot about why is she sticking with country when she's cutting off such a huge avenue of pop for her. This is something that you and I talked a lot about, because when she performs, she puts on an accent and it kind of just comes and goes. It comes a little bit across, in our opinion, a little bit not disingenuous, but like fake. But another thing, the judges call her nasally and gimmicky. And Lionel says, we're looking for you. And it's kind of implying that she's not giving the real you. What did you think about her audition song?
Didn't like her audition. Did we talk about Hollywood Week yet, or did you cover that?
We're still on the audition. Did you tune me out? I was talking a lot.
Yeah, you're kind of putting some words in my mouth about later on, but yeah, let's skip to Hollywood Week.
Wait, so she does the 3 country songs, and they're like, all right, we want none of those songs, we want something else. And she's like, you could see her like kind of like getting really nervous, and she eventually she sings like 5 seconds of, I think the song was His Eye is on the Sparrow. They say they liked it more, that she gets 3 yeses. She has this cute segment with, they prank her father, they bring him in, they say like, they pretend she didn't make it, but she did. It's, looking back of these 3, she by far had the best audition like segment that would like push her forward. But we move on to Hollywood Week. We don't see her that much, basically at all, until her solo round, where she does Ain't No Way by Aretha Franklin. She says she wants to do well by her father, who's supporting her. What did you think about it?
I love that performance. I really enjoyed that one. She showed off her range, her presence. It was a great performance, looking back on it in particular.
And not a country accent in sight. She has one of the things is before she actually starts singing, she says, "This song's for you, Daddy." Like it's the thing is, I feel like with Gabby, she is. I will say that I think Gabby is very, very smart. I think she's smart, but I also think she's a little bit calculated. I think she is trying to play this game. Even if it's not her and it's the producers trying to get her to play the game, I feel like she's playing it, but in my opinion, it's coming across a little bit too calculated. Like with Maddie, I feel like it's very organic when she's talking and she's kind of giving her thoughts. And you could say what you want about Maddie and her like performances, but like as a person, she's a very genuine person. I feel like with Gabby, there's a lot of thought behind her actions, and I feel like this was a prime showing of that. But anyway, we move on unless you have anything to say. Do you? About that idea?
Other than that, I disagree.
You do? Tell me why.
I don't disagree that Maddie's genuine. Maddie is genuine, but I don't think Gabby is necessarily not genuine.
I don't know. There's some things I'm hearing, but we'll move on to her Green Mile. And it's funny, they didn't mention this in the episode, but she sings Church Bells by Carrie Underwood, which was actually one of the songs in her audition that she was told not to do, but she decides to do it anyway. I don't know why. Like, if I was her, I would. If they turn that song down in the auditions, I don't know why you would ever consider doing it later on in the show. But she says she wants to risk it. She wants to go all or nothing for this performance. The judges, they say not that strong of a performance, but it's this is a narrative that's going to change, because up until this point they ding her on being fake country, but as soon as the live shows hit, that narrative is completely reversed, and they are applauding her for being a country artist, which means I almost want to Photoshop a picture. I don't know who the producer is now, but like of the judges, and then like Nigel Lithgow. It's not Nigel Lithgow anymore, but like whispering in their ears, like, no, you have to like this person. Did you feel that was the narrative, that they kind of all of a sudden just changed their tune a little bit out of nowhere?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, don't disagree. I will say I did not like the Top 24 performance. I didn't like that song.
This wasn't Top 24. This was
I know.
Showcase. Oh.
Wait, did you talk about Top 24?
We didn't. I didn't. I was talking about no, I was talking about Green Mile. She did Church Bells for the Green Mile, and then for Top 24 it was My Church.
Oh, two different songs. Sorry, I confused the two. Oh. But I don't like either of those songs, to be honest. But okay.
All right, so like we said, she gets through. She's given the pass to the Top 24. She does My Church by Maureen Morris and Stay with her duet with Sugarland. Country accent is back and in full effect. It comes and goes. You never know when you're gonna get it. She gets standing ovations, a lot of high praise. All of a sudden, the judges are kind of changing their tune. Some of the contestants they loved pre-Top 24. They're not liking. Gabby's one of the ones that was just all of a sudden given a lot of praise. Honestly, I wasn't that big of a fan of these. I felt like there were more interesting contestants at this point. We had, well, Katie was kind of, this was when Katie hit her like rough patch, but we had like Mara, we had Adam Sanders. There was like more intriguing contestants, and I kind of discounted her, but that was pretty dumb, right? No? Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear the last sentence.
Well, anyway, so it doesn't matter. We'll move on to, she moves on to the top 14. She gets past, she gets through. She's singing The Climb, and in the press leading up to this it was after the performance. David Archuleta, he's on, I think it's Good Morning America. He says that his favorites are Katie and Gabby. What did you think about her performance of The Climb?
I thought it was good. Passable.
I think it was pretty good, honestly. The country accent, it just feels like her whole shtick is imitation, and like there's one other contestant who's very organic, and I feel like Gabby is all imitation. Like it's imitation, like vanilla. Like you know what I mean? A little bit. Not making any sense? Like, we don't need another Carrie Underwood, like, copycat. We already have Carrie Underwood.
Okay, I'll put it this way. I'm not a huge fan of any of the top three. Of the three, I want Gabby to win.
I'd be totally okay with that, because at this point, we actually did our draft. And luckily for me, I actually got her on my team. I have two people going into the finale. I'm feeling
You know
pretty
what?
good about my draft.
I
But
really hope I don't win the draft at this point.
I think Maddie was my first pick. I feel like my picks went Maddie, Mara, Adam, Gabby. I think she was my fourth pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caleb, I think was your third.
Second.
Yeah, I'm still a little surprised that you picked Caleb over Mara or Adam Sanders when you had that opportunity. But I wrote down in my notes that she's a producer's favorite. I was feeling at this point I was starting to recognize that there is a lot of push from the producers for her. But anyway, she makes it through to the top 14, to the top 10. She doesn't need to sing for the save. She does her victory performance of Little Red Wagon by Miranda Lambert, another country singer. And yet again, there's no critiques like there was in the audition round, in Hollywood Week, and the Green Mile. It's all just praising her, calling her like a pretty good singer. I'm not feeling it at this point, but I did like this performance a little bit. I felt like it was a lot of fun. It was kind of cool to see her. Like, there's a little bit of a rock star in her, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I will say the song that she said she wanted to sing, it wasn't clear what was the song. There was a song that she said that she wanted to sing. I think it was "Love and Let Die" or something.
Ooh, that would have been good.
Actually, I don't know. Look, she wanted to sing a clear rock song, and she couldn't get it clear. Oh no, Paradise City was the one.
Who's that by?
Paradise City by Guns N' Roses.
I haven't heard it. I'm sorry.
Boo.
Anyway,
you learn your rock history. Yeah, she wanted to sing that one. I think that one would have been really good for her, but they couldn't clear it. So.
Okay, well, we move on to her Disney performance at Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. One of her weakest performances, in my opinion. Right?
I'd say it was a B minus, B plus, somewhere in that range.
I was honestly thinking she had a chance of being in trouble that week, but
no, she didn't.
Oh, well, let me think. That was the week with Adam Sandler. 3 people went home that week, or 4?
Free.
Oh, so it was Adam, Michelle, who
Dennis.
I would have saved Michelle over Gabby. I mean, her "Remember Me" is still probably one of my favorite performances of the season, but not a great performance from her. I wasn't really feeling it that much. But she's safe. She moves on to her next performance in the top 7, which is Prince and Songs from the Year You Were Born. And she sings "I Hope You Dance" from Leanne Womack. And she does her performance, and it's a huge moment. The judges are standing. I think Luke Pine, this is the one where Luke says, this is the best performance I've heard in this room, which even if you are favoriting Gabby, there are better Gabby performance than this.
The next one, the one after it.
I would have even said like The Climb was probably better than this, but the judges so like, all right, I understand you're clearly favoriting Gabby, but like there's just other people you can favorite.
Many of Gabby's performances did not deserve the praise that they got, but some of them did, I think. How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore was my favorite performance of hers from the season.
You introduced it. It's How Come You Don't Call Me by Prince. Like you said, this was, in my opinion, her best performance. She kind of goes for this big, like Kelly Clarkson, Carrie Underwood, like screaming, belting note. She kind of took it to church. No country accent.
She nailed it.
Yeah, she did kind of yell it. The country accent is gone. She's just doing her thing. People from Pittsburgh don't talk with an accent, by the way. Just want to say. But really strong showing from her. This was, if she is going to win, at least there were some performances like this that kind of make me feel like I could kind of see why she deserves it.
Yeah, agreed. The next week, I'm going to start now, if it's okay.
Before I do, I just want to say that we have a commenter in our chat box. So how's it going, Andrea? She says, yay, Eric's back. I'm super behind, so can't comment real time. Thanks for watching, Andrea. Welcome aboard.
Hi.
Yeah, you want to introduce the next part?
Okay, I'll start. Last name with her next performance from Carrie Week. I thought it was a great vocal. I did write that she's no Carrie, but she is the best singer from a vocal perspective left on the show. I enjoyed it. I think the pimpage is. I wrote the pimpage is strong, and she has a great shot at being the first female winner since Candace. That one was okay, and then she pulls out "I Have Nothing," and I wrote she just won American Idol. I wrote that was a great vocal moment. Talk about pulling something out of a bag. And I wrote, sure, the song choice is unbelievably predictable, but not for Gabby. It wasn't. I would not have expected Gabby to sing that song.
I have a lot of thoughts on this performance, but I will just be narrow it down. This was a very strong performance from Gabby's. No country accent, but it was trending on YouTube, which I don't know if that's because like people put it there. Like I'm always a little confused by the trending system of YouTube.
Trending is how many people are watching it.
No, is it like selected there by like people, or is it just based on the amount of views? Like I never.
Based on the amount of views. It's not curated.
Because there was the story with like Logan Paul when he did his story, and it was like on YouTube, and it was trending, and I thought there was like a story that I thought there was a story that they actually select which performances or which videos are going to be on trending.
I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, it was pretty damn good, I will say. But so that's pretty much Gabby's run going into the finale. What is your pick for her reprise song? Is it reprise or reprise? I don't.
It's not reprise. It's either reprise or reprise. I don't know how.
I've just embarrassed myself this entire.
I don't know words. But I will say, I think if she's smart, she will redo "How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore." If she wants to win, that's what she'll do.
I agree. I feel like the obvious go-to reprises or whatever should be. Well, for Maddie, I would honestly go with "Homeward Bound," Caleb, "When Doves Cry," and Gabby, the Prince song. But I feel like in the past the reprise songs have always usually disappointed. Like remember Philip Phillips did "Moving Out," like they're always like the unexpected. So I feel like
with one exception, Candace in season 12.
True, but if you
actually tried in season 15 also did a good job with his reprise.
If you have to pick a reprise that isn't like the obvious pick, if you have to pick a song that probably like that you feel they might pick to go a little bit out of the obvious, like what do you think they might go for? I'll start because I'll just give you a second. I would say Maddie would probably do "Dreams" by Brandi Carlile. Probably would be a good idea. Either that or well, she can't do the Rainbow Connection because she's going to be singing it with someone at the finale. What?
You already said Kermit.
Oh, so I'm going to say either "Dreams" or Brandi Carlile or "Brand New Key" for Maddie. For Caleb, if we're going unconventional, probably the song you did last week, the Mother's Day song. I don't remember what it was. Stars in Alabama. I was going to say Alabama Stars. Thanks for correcting me. Either that or maybe, I don't know. I would probably feel like that. For Gabby, maybe Big Red Wagon.
I think Gabby, the unconventional one, would be Little Red Wagon. And the other two, honestly, I don't have any other choices for them.
All right, so let's have a little fun. What would be the worst reprise songs of the contestants?
Well, Maddie would be, for me, it would clearly be the second song she did on Prince.
If it makes you happy. I shouldn't sing. Go on.
Yeah, don't. For Caleb, it would be Baby Lock Them Doors, just to bring back the Scotty comparison.
Oh, God. Can you imagine? Like, that is just...
And for Gabby, I think her worst possible one to bring back would be anything from Carrie Underwood.
I was going to say Colors of the Wind.
No. Anything that she did that was originally sung by Carrie Underwood would be problematic.
All right, so that is the runs of the three contestants. We went over the reprise songs. So now here's the question, the big question. Eric, who should win American Idol and who will win American Idol?
Okay, putting me on the spot. Okay. Out of the three, Gabby should win.
Okay, go on. Don't say it. Don't say it.
1 second. Okay, Google, flip a coin.
All right. You got heads.
Did Maddie just win? I think Maddie just won American Idol.
It was not Maddie. It was not between Maddie. It was between Gabby and Caleb. And I said heads for Gabby, so Gabby's gonna win.
All right. Who should win? By far, you know my pick. It's
obviously Maddie for you.
It's Michelle Suzette. She was robbed and should have won. But I'm gonna say will win. Should win is Maddie. Will win. I'm gonna say Maddie. I think she will win. There's like a part of me that still really believes in her. I still believe she could do this. And I might be eating crow during our next podcast, but
well, you're not. Either way, you won, because as long as Caleb doesn't win, you won the draft.
Oh my God! If Caleb wins and you win the draft, this is gonna be the upset.
Honestly, I really hope I don't win this draft because I really don't want Caleb to win.
So that is basically our podcast for today. I just want to say that in the coming weeks, we are going to be wrapping up our coverage of American Idol. The season finale is on Sunday. We are going to have an episode
Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, and Monday. We are going to probably have an episode Sunday night right after the show, 20 minutes or so. There's more news to come on that. I will be sharing information on my Twitter. You can follow me to keep up with it. Then I will be podcasting again with you, Eric, on Tuesday, right?
Tuesday is what I'm going to be on, yes.
Where we are going to be talking about the finale, the winner, all the performances. If Maddie doesn't win, I'll probably be wearing a veil. Then on Thursday, we are going to be doing a season recap. We're just going to talk about some of the things that we liked, what we didn't, our hopes for the next season. That's pretty much how things are going to go. You can find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox. You can follow my blog, adamcvblog.com and adamsoapbox.blog. And I just want to say that for those watching, if you like what you're watching, please consider subscribing, liking. It really, really helps us out. This is something that I have such a passion for. These podcasts, they're the highlight of my week. And if you could shoot us a subscribe or like, it would mean so much. All right, Eric, where can we find you?
Eric_Ascher on Twitter. Thoughts.ericascher.com is my personal blog. I'll be uploading my notes right after this, and I'll be publishing them. And basically follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Eric Ascher or one on YouTube. And please do like and comment. I enjoy when people comment on this podcast. I like when I get reinforced that holding up a sign is not driving people insane. So, by the way, if it is driving you insane, please let me know so I can stop holding it up. Before I ramble on anymore, just want to say this has been a great season. Well, not really, but there have been a lot of great parts of the season, but I've really enjoyed doing this podcast. So 1 week left.
That is basically our episode, but really quickly, just 2 seconds. The spoilers, there are some spoilers for the finale episode that I just really want to go over. Bobby Bones returning for he's going to be the mentor. Pretty much same. I feel the same way. Song spoilers. If you don't want to hear, click away now. I should have said that before, but I told about Bobby Bones, but he's not really that big of a spoiler.
For him.
Maddie is going to be performing Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. They revealed that the themes for the finale, one of the themes, are songs dedicated to their hometown. Maddie's is, like I said, Landslide. And Caleb's is Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. Just really quickly, what are your thoughts on those two songs?
Caleb's is better than Maddie's.
Totally, 1,000% disagree with you. And on that note, I will end the podcast.
Wait, I also didn't Gabby's confirm? Didn't someone say Gabby's was "Don't Stop Believing," or is that not confirmed?
I didn't hear that news. Was it?
If it's true, a commenter on MJ said that. So if that is true, that's a bad choice. But
hashtag team Maddie. Go out and vote for Maddie. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I had a blast doing these. Did you, Eric?
This was fun. Can't wait to move on to the next one.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Peace.